Okay, dokie. So I want to start off with sharing an affirmation with you. I didn't write this, and my computer did something weird and dropped the name of the person that wrote it. So we're just gonna thank the powers that be for dropping this into awareness. The affirmation is, I am held in the presence of life. I am supported and sustained by divine intelligence. All of life is conspiring for my good. I listen for its guidance, knowing that it is with me always. I am one with life. I am one with love. I am one with God. I like that. All of life is conspiring for my good. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I introduced you to the word, or I was introduced to the word pronoia. Remember that?
Yes.
That's really been meaningful for me. Pronoia is having the sense that there is a conspiracy that exists to help me. It is also used to describe a philosophy that the world is set up to secretly benefit people. So, when we talk about conspiracy theory, this is it. Pronoia. The world is conspiring to support us. I wanted to tell you a story, share a story with you about a Detroit resident whose name was James Robertson, who found himself in the spotlight after people learned of his daily commute. He's a 56-year-old man who walked 21 miles and took 2 bus rides to get to his factory job, earning $10.55 an hour. The hellish commute left Robertson just 2 hours to sleep. And the Detroit Free Press reported his story, and a 19-year-old college student started a crowdfunding project to GoFundMe.com to buy Robertson a car. And the donations ended up being $350,000. And the Ford dealership also gave him a new Taurus. Robertson said that he wanted the Taurus because it's like me, simple on the outside and strong on the inside. And now he's being coached by volunteers to make wise financial decisions about his newfound wealth. Pronoia, a conspiracy to support him. Imagine just those kinds of amazing, wonderful, miraculous things can spring up in our lives at any time. Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, who was our founder, said, this is the teaching, love and law. As the love of God is perfect, the law of God also is perfect. We must understand both. So there is that conspiracy, which is God made manifest, God working in our lives, and there is the tool that God uses, which we call the law. And the law is as infallible as gravity, that what we think is what we get. What we think is what we get. It is done unto us as we believe. And that is the law. That is the tool of God conspiring for our highest and best. Amazing things. Ernest continued by saying, now we can forget all about the law and know there is nothing but the word. The law will be working automatically. We must forget everything else and let our word be spoken with a deep inner realization of love, beauty, peace, poise, power, and at the great presence of life, at the point of our own consciousness. So as we speak, we can forget about the law because it will be at work naturally. We can also use the tool of our words to invigorate and stimulate the law, which is the belief that we have is demonstrated in our lives. What we say is what we get. It is done unto us as we believe. And we can forget that part just by remembering the law is a tool of God, and God is conspiring for our highest and best good. And we absolutely can stand in trust and in faith, knowing that no matter what the appearance of stuff is, it is part of the conspiracy of love and good. It's part of the conspiracy of love and good. And when we trust that, when we embrace the philosophy of pronoia, then things begin showing up for us in amazing, lovely, miraculous ways. Ernest says, prayer is the truest, in the truest sense, is an alignment, a unifying process which takes place in the mind as it reaches to its divine self and to the power which is greater than human understanding. In the act of such prayerful and reverent communication with God, one senses the unity of good, the completeness of life, and at times the veil of doubt is lifted and the face of reality appears. So prayer is our tool, and reminding us to pray aright, not by outlining and telling God how to show up, because God has so much more wisdom than we do. Ernest continues, it is a beautiful and true thought to realize that every person stands in the shadow of a mighty mind, a pure intelligence, and a divine givingness. I'll read that again. It is a beautiful and true thought to realize that every person stands in the shadow of a mighty mind, a pure intelligence, and a divine givingness. The farmer has seen the heavenly host in the fields. The child has frolicked with it at play. The mother has clasped it to her breast, and the fond lover has seen it in the eyes of their beloved. We look too far away for reality. What does that mean? It means that everywhere we look, the divine is showing up. Everywhere we look, we are being supported. Everywhere there is a conspiracy for our good. Everywhere God is. And things are conspiring for our highest and best good. And by having the faith and the trust to know that, escalates and emboldens and generates more and more rapid turnaround into the good. Our word is powerful. Our prayers are creative. And the divine is conspiring for our highest and best good. Life already is and knows perfection. We are clearing our old stories and opening to divine intelligence. We are not separate from God or from life around us. So God is right here. We don't have to go someplace. We don't have to be something else. God is in the fountain and the light reflected in the fountain and the flowers and the plants and everyone here. We are a powerful compounded collection of We don't have to go looking for it. We only have to open to it. So I invite you to look now at the experiences of your life, those you like and those you don't, and identify how they reflect the ways of your thinking and the ways of your speaking. And it's so easy and yet so difficult to change our thinking, to change our speaking, and to move into that deeper faith. Because we're enculturated. We are, as a society, as a culture, as humanity, enculturated to look for the negative, to look for the yes buts. What's wrong here? Why is this not working? And the truth of the matter is that it is always working. It is all working. And so, turning our back on our natural inclination to seek the negative in every situation and fostering the habit of trusting in the conspiracy for good, to adapt the philosophy of pronoia, to know that the universe is conspiring for our highest and best good, and that we are always infallibly supported. Try it. Try changing your thinking, changing your life, which is what we teach, just as an experiment. Ernest Holmes said he never expected anybody to take his word on faith. He expected us to try it out, to demonstrate it for ourselves. And we can all do that. So think about the good. Speak about the good. Start expecting it and looking for it in small shifts. Prove it for yourself. Consider practicing the love, beauty, peace, poise, and power of God, is that it surrounds us and fills you and flows through you, just as the air surrounds and fills and flows through you. Pronoia, the conspiracy that God is at work supporting you. I want to tell you another story of Meredith and Abby. Abby was a dog, and I don't know who these people are, except that this is a lovely story, and it's told by Meredith's mother. There was no last name and no acknowledgement of who wrote the story. But Meredith's mother said this: "Our 14-year-old dog, Abby, died last month. The day after she died, my 4-year-old daughter, Meredith, was crying and talking about how much she missed Abby." Now, I'll just warn you, I'm going to cry. She asked if we could write a letter to God so that when Abby got to heaven, God would recognize her. I told her that I thought it would be a good idea, so she dictated these words to me. "Dear God, will you please take care of my dog, Abby? She died yesterday, and she is in heaven with you. I miss her very much. I am happy that you let me have her as my dog, even though she got sick. I hope you will play with her, God. She likes to play with balls and to swim. I'm sending a picture, so when you see her, you will know she is my dog. I really miss her. Love, Meredith." We put the letter in an envelope with a picture of Abby and Meredith and addressed it to God in heaven. We put our return address on it, and then Meredith pasted several stamps on the front of the envelope because she said it would take lots of stamps to get the letter all the way to heaven. That afternoon, she dropped it in the letterbox at the post office. A few days later, she asked if God had gotten the letter yet. I told her that I thought he had. Yesterday, there was a package wrapped in gold paper on our front porch addressed to Meredith. And in unfamiliar hand, Meredith, the letter was addressed to Meredith in an unfamiliar hand, the package. Meredith opened it. Inside was a book by Mr. Rogers called When Pets Die. Taped to the inside front cover was the letter we had written to God, and in its opened envelope. And on the opposite page was a picture of Meredith and Abby that we had sent. It included this note. Dear Meredith, Abby arrived safely in heaven. Having the picture was a big help. I recognized Abby right away. Abby isn't sick anymore. Her spirit is here with me, just like it stays in your heart. Abby loved being your dog. Since we don't need our bodies in heaven, I don't have any pockets to keep my picture, or your picture in. So I'm sending it back to you in this little book for you to keep and have something to remember Abby by. Thank you for the beautiful letter, and thank your mother for helping me write it and sending it to me. What a wonderful mother you have. I picked her especially for you. I send my blessings every day and remember that I love you very much. By the way, I'm easy to find. I am wherever love is. The letter was signed, God. Pronoia. How lovely. Now we could say that that was serendipitous and some postal person found that letter and was moved to answer it. But the truth of it is that was God. God using a postal worker to send a message to a little girl. And God uses all of us. And God speaks to each one of us daily. If we trust it and accept it and know that those serendipitous, coincidental, surprising, amazing things happen as an expression of God, as an expression of pronoia, knowing that there is a conspiracy to rise us up, to hold us up, to love and sustain us. There is a conspiracy for our highest and best good. All that is called for us to do is to trust it, to not outthink it, to not outpray the divine, just having the faith, knowing that there is a conspiracy for good. And even though we may not see a plan immediately, it always shows up. Good always shows up for us. I want to read that affirmation once more. I am held in the presence of life. am supported and sustained by divine intelligence. All of life is conspiring for my good. All of life is conspiring for my good. I listen for its guidance, knowing that it is with me always. I am one with life, I am one with love, and I am one with God. All of life is conspiring for my good. So that's my message for you today. I encourage you to embrace the philosophy of Reno and know that all of life is conspiring for our good. Each one of us and collectively. Trusting it, knowing it on the deepest level. And speaking it. I love you. I love you. Namaste.
Namaste.
I invite you to stand with me. I invite you to join me as I turn within. Allow my words to be your words as I speak in the first person, knowing that I am speaking for the highest and best of each person here. I know that I am part of the great conspiracy. I know you are part of the great conspiracy. Each open, loving thought is part of the great conspiracy for good, for the highest and best. And so as we move into the sacred time of light, the winter solstice, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, it is a time to stand in love, to live in love, and to express in love. It is time to join the universal conspiracy for good, to trust, to speak the word of good, to speak the word of faith and trust, to speak the word of higher thought, to rise above the belief in pettiness, the belief in anger, the belief in judgment. Letting it all go and stepping up and stepping into Godness. So with joy, with enthusiasm, with expectation, I join the conspiracy. I become a radical conspirer of good. And with deep sincerity, with profound understanding, I say thank you. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, divine, universal source. Thank